We get loads of questions every single week asking us how much it costs to live on a narrowboat on the canals or a wide beam. And we did record a video 2 years ago on how much it cost us to live on a narrowboat on the canals. But a lot of things have changed. Just in the last 2 years, the cost of living crisis has hit us, and the costs are a lot different. So when people ask us how much it costs, it is different now to what it was just 2 years ago.
Yeah, we can't refer them back to that video anymore.
No. And we see a lot of stories, especially in newspapers and magazines, glamorising narrowboat life as cheaper, of people saving thousands of pounds by moving from a house or rented accommodation onto a boat. Is that really true? Well, we're going to find out today. Over the last few days, we've been talking to dozens of boat builders, mariners, fuel boats, and over 50 narrowboaters who live aboard on the canals. The price that we paid for Silver Fox back then isn't what they are now. Material costs such as steel and wood have rocketed. They have come back somewhat over the last year or so. But the amount of people wanting boats and the scrambling for materials mean that boat prices have shot up.
Yeah.
We spoke to a dozen boat builders over the last couple of weeks, and we took an average of all their sales, and boat prices have gone up on average about 24% from 2 years ago, which is quite a chunk, isn't it?
Wow.
That is quite a big difference. You could expect to pay anything between about £5,000 and £30,000 more for the average boat.
That's a lot of money.
Now, if you wanted a 57-foot narrowboat like me and Sean had, which was Silver Fox, when we take an average of the 12 boat builders that we spoke to, that's going to cost you about £145,000 to £155,000. Now, you can get used boats. You can pick them up from £20,000, £30,000, £40,000, depending on the condition.
But they'll need some work doing.
Oh, yes. If your budget only stretches to a used boat, the good news is that of the boat brokerages that we spoke to, the price of a full survey on a used boat hasn't really gone up that much in the last 2 years, at the most about 5%. So depending on the type of survey, you can expect to pay between £400 and £1,200 for a survey and inspection on your boat. Now, we're going to base the numbers for 2023 on the basis that we're using the same amount of everything as we did in 2021.
That's a good plan.
So it's just the price difference. Now, some of them we've adjusted for inflation, like food. Some of them we've adjusted on actual prices, things like diesel and coal and gas.
That have gone through the roof.
License fees and things like that. And what we're going to do is right at the end of the video, we're actually going to list them all to show what they were, what they are, and how much extra or less, I think we know which way it's going, you'll be paying in 2023. The first thing is maintenance and servicing of the boats.
This has to be done.
Yeah, now we had this done every 250 hours, engine hours, and we had one of the engineers from Bickerstaff Boats who built the boat, and he would come out and do the servicing or any maintenance for us.
Wherever we were in the country.
Yeah. Now, back in 2021, that cost us £720 a year. After checking with the engineer for the same parts and everything exactly as it would be, it would now be £868 a year.
Wow.
So that's gone up. Now, you can do the servicing yourself. You can get the parts and the oil and the filters and everything and do it yourself and save some money.
Save quite a bit of money.
The only reason we had the engineers from Bickerstaff Boats to do it was because they built the boat, so they knew how the engine worked, and we had that peace of mind that it had been done properly. Because we're not very practical, do you know what I mean? With us hands, are we?
We're quite rubbish.
Next up, we've got the blacking and anodes at the bottom of the boat. These protect the steelwork from corrosion from the water. Now, we work that on every 3 years, so we work out a budget every year, which was £300 a year, because it cost about £900 to get the job done every 3 years.
Yes.
Now, we rang around a few places that do this, worked out an average, and it would now work out at £332 a year.
Ooh.
So that's another £32 a year. I don't think that's that bad.
It's still going up.
It's about 10%,
Yeah.
which they put down to the cost of paints and obviously energy costs going up too. Next up, we've got the batteries. Narrowboats use quite a lot of power. Well, we did anyway. Now, we had solar panels which used to charge the batteries up, but about every 4 years we would have had to have replaced the batteries. So again, we saved so much per year, which originally 2 years ago was £450 a year, and then every 4 years we'd replace the batteries.
Double A batteries.
Yeah, probably cheaper. Now again, I had a call around, I checked with Vitus, who supplied our original batteries, and are you ready for this? If we were still saving every year to replace them every 4 years, it would have gone up from £450 a year to £545 a year. You're going to need a licence from the Canal and River Trust just to have your boat on the water.
Yeah.
Now, when we bought it the last time, it was £985. That's actually cheaper than the full rate because we bought it online with a discount, so we paid in full.
This is a continuous cruising licence.
This is a continuous cruising licence. To buy that exact same licence for 2023 is going to cost you £1,109. That again is with the discount and buying it not in, do you know what I mean? So there are different licenses available. So if you've got a wide beam or if you've got a longer boat, it's going to be more expensive. If you've got a shorter boat, it will be slightly cheaper. There's all different types of licenses for different sizes of boats. The best thing to do is go on the Canal and River Trust's website and check out how much it would cost for you. But yeah, that's quite an increase, isn't it, in
Massive.
2 years?
Yeah.
You're also going to need insurance for your boat. It's a requirement of the Canal and River Trust licence to have insurance, so you do need it. And the prices of that can vary depending on the size of your boat, whether you've got a narrowboat or a wide beam boat.
Or the age of the boat.
Or the age of the boat. Now, it was quite expensive for us. We were paying about £420 a year 2 years ago. Now, that is quite expensive because we had all the filming equipment and it was a new boat. So the rebuild cost for insurance purposes was quite high. Now, I got 3 quotes if we were renewing it this month.
Yeah.
And the cheapest one, which was from the same people that we had the last one, had shot up from £420 to £598.
Wow.
That's some jump in it.
It's a massive jump.
And you do need it. Now, that is expensive. If you've got an older boat, a less expensive boat, a shorter boat, that probably will cost you a lot less. We had friends who were paying £200 to £300 for insurance.
Yeah.
You might want to be sat down for this bit. Diesel.
Oh my lordy!
We used to use around about 1,000 litres of diesel a year. This can be a bit complicated if you're new to boating because at the time when we filmed the last vlog 2 years ago, you had to pay duty tax on the part of the diesel that you were using for propulsion, but you didn't have to pay duty or tax on the part you were using for heating.
Yeah.
And you have to self-declare that when you're buying the diesel. Now, most mariners used to split it at around 60-40.
Yes, they did, yeah.
Some do 80-20, and some will just let you do that yourself.
Yeah.
Now, things are changing in relation to duty, so it could even be out of date within a few weeks of recording this vlog.
Yeah.
In 2021, we paid £740 for diesel. Which at the time, I think we sat there and we were like, aghast.
We were, yeah.
If we were to use, and we've checked with over a dozen marinas and brokerages and places that sell diesel and 50 different narrowboaters, and we've taken an average, and based on that price in 2023, that would cost us £1,680.
Oh my!
Which is more than double, careful, can't say that.
I nearly swore!
Which is more than double what it was just 2 years ago.
Wow.
With the price of diesel as it is, you might be tempted to just buy coal and heat your boat through the stove.
Yeah.
In 2021, we used 1,800 kilograms of coal.
I thought you were going to say tons then.
That works out at 72 times 25 kilo bags.
That's quite a lot.
And that cost us £724 for the year.
Not bad, seeing as we had it 24/7.
Now, we've talked to loads of narrowboaters and 2 or 3 fuel boats across the network just in the last few days and calculated that if we were to use exactly the same amount of coal in 2023, it would cost us £1,348. Which is not quite double, but it's still nearly double what it was just 2 years ago. So imagine that and the diesel together already. On our narrowboat, we used gas to cook with. So the hob and the grill and the oven all used gas, which we had in 13 kilo bottles at the back of the boat. Now, we used 4 a year. And if you speak to any narrowboater, that's actually about the average.
About average, yeah.
And we paid £134 over the year 2 years ago. Again, we spoke to some fuel boats and some marinas and some narrowboaters, worked out the average. That's now gone up to £170 a year, which is not that much really. It's about £30 odd a year, isn't it?
It's still a lot when you add it to the rest.
An extra £36 a year, but yeah, it's starting to add up. One subject that always comes up when narrowboaters get together is...
toilets.
Toilets. There are several different types of toilets on narrowboats. There's cassette toilets, there's compost or separating toilets, there's incinerating toilets, and there's pump outs. And they all cost different to run. The most expensive is an incinerating toilet because it uses energy and you have to put like these coffee filters in some of them and
it uses gas.
So that's the most expensive. Then you've got pump out toilets, which depending how long it takes you to fill the tank, let's just say that.
How much you poop.
When it's full, you have to pump it all out at a pump out station, and that can cost anything from 15 to 25 quid, depending where you get it done. The next is the cassette and the composting. Now, cassette toilets, a lot of people use chemicals like blue to make it smell less grim. I don't know how much that works.
It doesn't work.
And other chemicals and detergents to wash them out with.
Yeah.
And then there's composting toilets. Now, we changed from a cassette toilet to a composting toilet.
Yeah.
And it cost us £20 a year to run that. That was from the coconut coir, which is like a kind of compost.
Yeah.
That we used to moisten up, put that in the bucket, and that was it, wasn't it? We used to put a bleaching tablet in the bottle every couple of months.
Yeah.
Now, over the year, that cost us £20 a year. I had a look online. We used to get that from Poundland.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Blocks of coconut coir from Poundland.
And it would now cost us £24 a year. So only an extra £4 a year.
That's not bad.
To run our toilet, which is all right.
Yeah, that's all right.
If you've got a car, you'll know that you have to get it MOT'd at certain intervals. And it's the same with a boat, except it's not called an MOT. It's called Boat Safety Certificate something or other.
BSS.
And you have to have a man with a clipboard and a pencil behind his ear come round and suck his cheek and put his tongue out the corner of his mouth.
And sigh a lot.
And sigh and tell you what's wrong with your boat. Now, we used to put away £50 a year. Because you have to have it done every 4 years on a boat. Now, I rang 3 boat inspectors and took the average for January 2023, and that would have gone up from £50 a year to £58 a year. So again, not that bad.
That's not too bad.
And they put that down to basically the rise in fuel costs.
Yeah.
I think the most expensive thing in our budget was just the groceries. It's food, I was going to say cosmetics and then point to you, detergents and toiletries, things like that, dog food for Otis. In 2021, we spent £75 a week on groceries, which worked out at £3,900 a year.
Not bad.
Now, all I've done is I've taken the rates of inflation for groceries for 2021 and 2022, added that to it. It comes out at £4,524. Wow. So it's gone up £12 a week. So it would now be £87 a week for the exact same groceries that we would have bought and lipstick for you back in 2021.
Lipstick.
We used to have a mobile phone each, which we had
still do.
The cheapest pay-as-you-go SIM.
It was, yes.
And we also had a SIM-only unlimited data in the boat, which we used for Wi-Fi. Now, that cost us back in 2021 £480 a year. For the exact same SIM tariffs today, it would cost £525. So that's gone up £45 a year.
That's quite a bit, that.
It's about £4 a month.
Yeah.
Even though we were moving around the country on our boats all of the time, there were times when we'd need to get a train or a bus or even a taxi. It could be that we were a little bit too far away from a shop and needed something, or one of us needed to see a doctor or a dentist or go visit family.
Yeah.
So we set aside a little bit of money each year. Now, back in 2021, we spent £216 on buses, trains and taxis, which I don't think was bad.
I don't think that was bad.
If we looked at exactly the same fares, now that would go up to £258. So again, not that much. I think it's just fuel costs, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
This was a contentious one.
A contentious one.
On the last vlog we did 2 years ago, TV licence.
By law, you need one wherever you are.
When we said that we had a TV licence and actually budgeted for it, we got so many comments from people saying, oh, don't bother, they'll never catch you, this, that and the other. Now, I actually followed those comments with a link from TV licensing that says even if you live on a boat and you're moving about, you need a TV licence if you're watching certain channels or certain on-demand content. Now, if you don't want to, that's fine, but we're including it in the budget because we watch BBC and we watch a lot of on-demand channels and we want to comply with the law. We don't want any bother and people knocking on boats.
Nope.
So we paid it. So 2 years ago, that would have cost £157 for the year. This year, it'll cost you 159, so it's gone up £2.
Oh, that's not too bad.
There's always something when you live on a narrowboat that will go wrong.
Oh, every day.
More often when you're least expecting it. Now we had, I wouldn't say save, but it was savings, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In 2021, we'd amassed the grand sum of £900. So if anything went wrong and we needed to do something like urgently, we had £900.
Yeah.
Now, all I've done for the budget this time is I've put it up to 1,000 because I thought, well, inflation's like about 10%.
Yeah.
So if I add 10% to that, well, 10 or 11%,
yeah,
and rounded it up to £1,000. So I would have hoped that we would have had about £1,000 because especially the older your boat is, the more likelihood is that something is going to go bang in the night or twang while you're going down a canal.
Twang.
Something will break or snap. The final one is our pocket money. Our allowance.
I didn't get any.
Which, back in 2021, we allocated ourselves £30 a week between us, all together, not each.
How come I didn't see any of them?
And we used to, it was like if we passed a pub or a Greg's.
That's it, yeah.
Or a cafe, or we wanted some fish and chips. That worked out at £1,560 for the year.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't changed that, even though inflation's gone up, so all the costs of fish and chips and beer and everything else has gone up in 2 years.
It's called cutbacks.
Yeah, because we're trying to cut back on everything else that's gone up within our budget, I wouldn't have increased that.
That's right,
because we would have needed to try and claw some of that back. So there you go. If we were still living on Silver Fox, it would cost us an extra £3,002 a year based on exactly the same behaviours and things that we bought 2 years ago.
That's nuts.
That's £58 a week extra.
Oof.
So if we were living on the boat, our budget would be £1,230 a month in outgoings, which is £284 a week. So basically, if we were to live on Silver Fox, our narrowboat, now in 2023, it would cost us £284 a week just to survive.
Wow.
Which is quite a lot.
Yeah.
Compared with 2 years ago.
Yes.
Don't forget there's ways you can save money. If you're getting an older boat, a less expensive boat, the insurance will be less if you've not got as much on there to insure.
Yes.
You can save some money by doing the maintenance and servicing yourself.
Yes.
There's loads of YouTube videos out there and people who will be glad to show you how it's done. So you could save a fortune on that. You could scavenge for wood.
Yeah.
And season your own logs that you find at the side of the canal on your journeys.
Because that's free.
As long as it's seasoned wood, it will burn fine.
Yeah.
You just need to keep collecting it throughout the year.
Yeah.
Things like TV license, if you're not bothered about watching TV like we were, and you don't have a TV on board, or you only use it for gaming, then you won't need a TV license.
That's right.
And then there's even simpler things like just not moving as much. We used to move almost every other day.
Yes, we did,
because
yes.
we were filming. If you stayed at a mooring that was maybe a 2-week mooring for the full 2 weeks or a week or 48 hours,
yeah,
you could save quite a lot of money in diesel. So there's lots of ways you can save money. Don't forget, this budget is just how we would have lived at the time.
It could be more expensive for you or cheaper.
It could be. Last time, people asked us why we didn't mention the cost of moorings, and that's because we didn't pay for moorings.
No.
As continuous cruisers, we just used the canal and river truss moorings along the canals and rivers, which, although some are restricted from anything from an hour to a day to a week to 2 weeks, we just stayed there, and they're free under the licence.
That's right, yes.
Now, there are some private moorings, especially on certain rivers like the Thames, where you can expect to pay £10–15 a day for a mooring. Or if you go into a private marina, they will charge you to stay there. So the reason we haven't included that in our costings is because back in 2021 we weren't using
We didn't use it.
moorings that we were paying for. Now, if you want a home mooring, a residential mooring, the costs vary wildly. If you were to get one at the end of a farmer's field in the middle of nowhere, you could be paying £100, £120 a month, if you're lucky. If you're wanting one in the centre of London with electric and water and everything else, you could be looking at £20,000 a year.
Yes.
That's how much it varies. So if you're looking to stay on your boat and not move around, you will need to find a mooring. You can't get a continuous cruiser licence and expect to stay in the same place all year. You need to move, I think it's at least 20 miles.
20 miles a year?
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, are we done?
2 years ago, it would have cost us just under 12 grand a year to live on Narrowboat Silver Fox. In 2023, it would cost us just under 15 grand a year. £3,000 more.
Why? Gives me toothache.
So is it cheaper living on a boat than it is living in a house? Well, you see a lot of stories in the press of people saying they've saved all this money and the lifestyle is so much better.
Don't know where.
In our experience, it's a very individual story.
Yes.
It depends what sort of house you're living in, or a flat, or a bungalow, I don't know. It depends what sort of boat you want. There's so many variables that it's impossible to say that it would be cheaper.
That's right.
If you're moving from a 10-bedroom mansion in London, then yes, it is going to be
cheaper.
But it's about the lifestyle and it's about what you expect from the lifestyle.
Yeah.
So it's well worth doing a lot of research, watching videos like this to see exactly how much it is going to cost you, to see if it's going to be worth it in the long run. But
we've got a boat.
We could help you there.
Oh, can we? I'm not giving them money.
Because we've just moved from a boat to a house.
We have.
And we've been in the house a year, so we've got 1 year
of costings.
So next time, we're going to show you how much it is cheaper or more expensive for Foxes Afloat to live in a house
than a boat.
Wow. And see if it really is true that it's cheaper living on a boat.
I hope it is.
Join us for that. I'm not telling you, no spoilers. Well, here's a clue. I'm wearing the same clothes as I was 4 years ago. If you've enjoyed this vlog, and we hope you have, and have found it helpful, hopefully, then subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Give the video a thumbs up, and if you hit the notification bell, YouTube will give you a little dig every time we release a new vlog.
Ding ding.
Which is usually
Friday at 4 o'clock.
If you want to help support the channel, depending on what device you're watching on, there might be a link up above Sean's head.
There.
If not, it's down in the video description. You can get some exclusive content. Something in my eye now. I'm not crying, honestly.
It's his finger.
We hope you've enjoyed it, and take care, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Ta-ra! You can't put that in the outtakes.
It was for a full boating survey, for actually half a...
What's a cervection?
It's a kind of contraceptive somewhere in, I don't know. We're not allowed to say that. Help me is the bitch around the bottom of the boat.
Bitumen.
And there's also anodes, like hemorrhoids.
Does it swell like hemorrhoids?
It hurts sometimes if you bang on the wrong place. And you've got I can't say it.
You can't say it.
Why can't I say anodes?
Anodes.
It's anodes. I've forgotten. I knew I'd forget this already, so I'm going to just put that there. So, I've forgotten.
It's forgotten.
Yep. I'm not going to remember that, am I? That cost, I can't remember, and it was, I want some smarties.
Is that what it did?
Yeah.
Ollie injuries. There and there. Hang on, I'm picking my nose. I thought you said this was going to be 10 minutes long.
I've forgotten how much. And we were moving.
Ding!
To Sean's squeaky eyeball. Oh, God, that's horrible. Give up, you're waking the baby up.
Waking the baby up.
That's not like a euphemism. That would be raising the beast. So that we could have forgotten how much.
We've moved.
So we had a continual...
It's not hard.
That was better.
Yeah.
That could have been on BBC One, could that?
Could it?